Another day, another dollar. Time to make some deliveries and spread a little joy.
Kevin, the delivery guy, whistled as he loaded packages into his van. Each package represented a small moment of happiness for someone. He imagined the smiles on his customers' faces when they received their packages. It was the best part of his job. Little did he know, his day wouldn't go exactly as planned. Surprises were waiting around every corner. With a final slam of the van door, Kevin set off, completely unaware of the hilarious mishaps that awaited him. He was ready to tackle the day, or so he thought.
First stop, Mrs. Henderson's house. Don't want to crush those delicate flowers she loves so much.
Kevin chuckled to himself, carefully maneuvering through the garden path. He always enjoyed the little chats with Mrs. Henderson. He didn't see the hidden garden hose, tripped and landed face first in a patch of mud. His uniform was now a mess.
Note to self, always watch out for garden hoses. They can be sneaky little things.
Kevin mumbled, spitting out a mouthful of dirt. He couldn't help but laugh at his own clumsiness. It was just the beginning of a very eventful day.
Oh my!
Mrs. Henderson opened the door and her smile faded when she saw Kevin covered in mud. She had never seen such a mess before.
Special delivery and a free mud mask, courtesy of your garden hose, Kevin tried to joke, hoping to lighten the mood.
Kevin, always the optimist, just grinned and held out the package. He knew a smile could help in these situations. Mrs. Henderson couldn't help but laugh. Seeing Kevin covered in mud was just too funny.
You're a good sport, young man. Not everyone would handle this with such grace. Come back when you're clean and I'll make you some lemonade. It's the least I can do after this muddy mishap.
Kevin left, chuckling. He might be muddy, but he had managed to brighten Mrs. Henderson's day. But at least he made Mrs. Henderson's day. Next stop, the gym. He was looking forward to his next delivery. Kevin loved delivering to the gym. It was always bustling with energy and activity. So many opportunities for people watching. He enjoyed seeing the dedication and effort people put into their workouts. He lugged a heavy bag of protein powder inside, eager to see who was lifting what today. The gym was like a second home to him. He didn't see the jump rope lying on the floor, and before he knew it, he was stumbling forward, the heavy bag slipping from his grasp. Bam! Kevin went down, the protein powder exploding in a white cloud. He lay there for a second, covered in powder, watching the gym-goers stare in shock.
Don't worry, it's just vanilla.
The tense silence broke into laughter, and soon everyone was helping Kevin up, dusting him off.
You okay, buddy?
Never better, just trying to pump some protein powder.
After the protein powder fiasco, Kevin was ready for a quiet delivery. He arrived at a fancy apartment complex, a huge box in his arms.
This thing weighs a ton.
He muttered, struggling towards the elevator. He didn't notice his untied shoelace. So, here we are in Section 4, the case of the untied shoelace. In a busy city where everyone's always rushing, even a tiny detail can cause big problems.
Trip! You see it all the time, people tripping over their own feet, usually because of untied shoelaces.
Kevin went flying, and the box landed with a thud. He sat up, dazed. His shoelace had let him down at the worst possible moment.
Are you okay, mister? The little girl's eyes were wide with concern.
She asked, her voice full of concern. Kevin grinned, trying to reassure her despite his embarrassment.
Never better, kiddo. Just practicing my flying squirrel impression, he said, making a funny gesture to lighten the mood.
The little girl giggled and helped him up. Her laughter was infectious, and soon Kevin was laughing too.
You're funny, mister. My dad's a delivery guy too, but he never falls, she said with a cheeky grin.
Kevin ruffled her hair, appreciating her honesty and innocence.
Maybe he should loosen up a bit, he said, winking at her.
Finally, Kevin finished his deliveries. Exhausted but exhilarated, he reached for his van keys, ready to call it a day. They were gone. He patted his pockets frantically. Empty. Panic started to set in. Then he saw it. His van door was locked, and his keys were dangling from the ignition. It was going to be a long day. Chapter 5. Locked out but not down.
Oh, come on. Seriously, you've got to be kidding me.
Kevin groaned. Then out of nowhere, he started to laugh. Covered in mud, protein powder, and probably bruises, locked out of his van, but somehow, he found it hilarious.
What else could possibly go wrong?
He chuckled to himself. And then, as if on cue, a flock of pigeons flew overhead, leaving their mark on his freshly dusted uniform. Kevin threw his head back and roared with laughter. Today was officially a comedy of errors, and he was the star of the show.